Last but not least, good morning. My name is Karen Saggese, and I am here wearing a few different hats. Sorry about that. I usually talk too loud, so maybe that won't be a problem today. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude to Lori and the council for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful summit and be able to highlight something that is very passionate to me. I work in my day job with a hat that I wear all day long is with Food Rescue US. I am the co-site director for Fairfield County, where we work to bring surplus edible food to those in our community who are facing food insecurity. I also wear a hat that's represented here, and please check out our table. I am the co-chair of the organic subcommittee for the Connecticut Zero Waste Coalition. We have a lot of exciting things on our agenda and our 4 subcommittees. Please stop by our table right outside the door and check it out on your way out. But what I want to talk about today is food, and where I would probably have been someone in school who, when giving a presentation, would have jumped up to give my presentation first. I am thrilled that I'm going last today because I feel like I can connect the dots. The one thing that is consistent through this whole panel is that everything that we're speaking to about today has an effect on our food system. And I feel very strongly about our food system and the dysfunction that does exist in it and the impacts the industrialization of it has had on our food system, the way we eat, our health, and the way we live. But today I'm going to take one little piece of that and talk about food waste. And I guess I got to remember to use my slides. In this country, it is shocking to say that 40% of the US food supply goes uneaten through loss or waste. If you need to hear that in money terms, every year, $165 billion goes in the trash, food that isn't eaten. That's surplus left in fields, that's lost during transportation, that's general surplus, that's the bananas you have on your counter, your promise you're making banana bread with, and they're gonna be liquid next week, you name it. Of the food that we throw away, 70% of it was edible. It wasn't at the liquid banana stage. It could have been a perfectly good meal. Wasted food causes 58% of the methane emission from municipal solid waste. That is the equivalent of 50 million gas-powered passenger vehicles on the road. It's a lot of methane. I'm not saying we got to get rid of all that food waste, but a little bit would sure make a nice dent in all that methane. I'm one person who will stand before you and say, please put me out of a job. I'd love for there to be no food waste for me to deal with. However, here in Connecticut, 24% roughly of our waste stream's contents is wasted food. What's important to remember about that is in throwing away your food, you're throwing away all the resources that went into producing and growing and transporting and selling that food. So for example, 21% of our fresh water use goes to growing food that's wasted. At the same time, in Connecticut, we haul more than 1 million tons of trash out of state each year. Food waste and organic waste is heavy. That increases the cost associated with hauling and is clearly an issue. At the same time that we're talking about all of this food that's being wasted and ending up in landfills or incinerators, we have a food insecurity problem in this country, in our state. According to Feeding America, there has been a 23% increase in food insecurity since 2021, with a spike of 34% in the number of children who are food insecure. And hungry kids can't learn. That's a proven thing. What that translates to in Connecticut is 1 in 8 residents are food insecure. That's about 470,000 people. That's 1 in 6 children in Connecticut who are food insecure. 1 in 4 Black and Hispanic people in Connecticut are food insecure. Food donation is a critical component of food scrap and organics recycling policy because it addresses both food waste and food insecurity simultaneously. By diverting edible food from landfills and directing it to those in need, food donation programs help to reduce the environmental impact of food waste, prevent food spoilage, and alleviate hunger. That is why many of you are familiar with the EPA's wasted food scale. They list food donation as its best diversionary tactic on the wasted food scale. These are all their suggested ways to keep food out of a landfill. And it starts with not wasting it. And if you've got some that you don't have anything to do with, it moves to donation. Our great speaker at the beginning talked about simple solutions. Putting on my Food Rescue US hat, that's exactly what we are all about. In 2011, Food Rescue US was created in Fairfield County, Connecticut. It started in Norwalk. Today, it's headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, but we have 46 sites in 26 states and the District of Columbia. Through that, we run a model that is efficient, community-driven, and technology-powered. We have a web-based proprietary app that lists a schedule of food donors that we have gone out and procured. They are grocery stores, farms, restaurants, caterers, schools, hospitals, you name it, surplus food that they're willing to donate. Our volunteers sign up to pick up that donation in their own personal vehicle and drive it straight to a social service agency in that community, serving that community's people in need to bring them food. There is no overhead because there's no storage, there's no transportation, and most of it happens in less time than it would take you to bring your groceries home from the grocery store. Together, since 2011, we have cultivated a network that now includes over 400 food donors in Fairfield County, more than 290 receiving agencies, and more than 4,100 volunteers. In 2024 alone, in just Fairfield County, which is our most robust site, we have kept 3.5 million pounds of food out of landfill. We have completed nearly 20,000 rescues, engaging 875 active volunteers and bringing on 74 new food donors. We found out yesterday that we hit a benchmark in Fairfield County that since we started in 2011, we officially have rescued 50 million pounds of food that has been kept out of landfill. So thank you. Needless to say, we're really busy. That being said, and putting on my Connecticut Zero Waste Coalition hat, we know that organic waste bans have been successful in some of our neighboring states and some that are more far-flung in Massachusetts, Vermont, and California in the past year. Additionally, New York has a food donation and a food scrap recycling law. More importantly, this isn't just a state-by-state movement. The federal government is getting wise to it. And the White House in June of this past summer issued a national strategy for reducing food loss and waste and recycling organics. This strategy brings together the EPA, the USDA, and the FDA in a formal interagency agreement to work to accelerate the prevention of food loss and waste where possible and practical, and the recycling of the remainder with other organic waste across the entire US supply chain. They are seeking to address climate change while being inclusive of all communities, considering environmental justice concerns, and the potential to reduce food and nutrition insecurity and drive innovation and economic growth. Here in Connecticut, we do have a commercial organics recycling law that we as a coalition would love to see expanded upon to progressively lower the threshold for food scrap generators required to participate in the program, while at the same time mandating that the amount of food be recycled and each place have a food donation program on hand. Legislation such as this would ensure that food scrap generators will manage their waste sustainably, increasing the amount of food waste recycled. I feel like I may have missed one slide. I'll give you something fun to look at, us rescuing food. But this expansion of the commercial organics recycling law is more than just a policy change. It is a commitment to a sustainable future in Connecticut, where food waste is minimized, methane emissions are reduced, and food